Well, hello and welcome. If you have an Ulterra, such as this, and it keeps doing this, pulling your belt out, in fact, if it does this to you, and or just has bunched up cords and has this little piece, so if you'll notice, I don't know if it's going to pick it up or not, but there's little holes there. Well, that is where the Kevlar goes through. And what happens is the Kevlar doesn't break. That's not your issue. The issue is that the rubber breaks and lets the Kevlar pull through. Well, I have developed a system that so far is doing its job appropriately. So stick around and I'll walk you through the process of how I keep these belts from slipping out of these Ulterras. All right, first things first, we're going to cut a line down here gently. I'll cut the ends off and we'll cut this off. And that should give us two pieces. 1, 2. Now, the first piece, I will roll up onto the ramp edge of this just a little bit, making sure that it's not on any of the sides. And the second piece, I'll make sure it's not on the ramp at all. It's right below the ramp. Now, is that important? I don't know. This is just how I do it, and you can do it how you want to do it. Well, we're going to cut a little bit of excess off of here. Okay. So, now, when you go to put this on the shaft, you will need about yay much. Save that for just in a minute. Now I've already cut the belt out of this motor, but the way you'll do that is that you'll get into the upright position like this, and you'll run the belt down to cut the end off, and then you run the belt up until it comes out of the motor. Now I'm going to go into the trim operations, and I'm going to make sure that my motor is all the way up. It won't go up anymore because I want to feed this belt down. Next thing I'm going to do is the roll of this. See how it's rolled this way? Well, I'm going to force it back behind itself and do a couple of rolls in it, and I want it to feed backwards so that the gear catches it in the steer motor, or trim motor, sorry. Feed it down. And if you're lucky, she'll feed all the way through, just like that. And you'll just send it all the way down as far as you can. You'll want to ensure no damage has been done right here, that this black plastic isn't lifted. If it is, hit it with a little bit of a torch and hold it down there. Maybe put some silicone on it, but take a file and file this smooth if there's any sharp edges here. This needs to be round and smooth. This is where the magic happens. Obviously, this sets into the shaft just like that, into that deal, and locks in. If you have a problem with this locking in and this is all ripped out or something, you'll have to replace your shaft and motor housing. But the key to the success so far that I have found is that moving it 2 lugs past your lock-in, and this is where you want to put your tape on to hold it all in place, and make sure it's below this edge, because that edge is what your lock catches in. Oh man, I should not have torn that much off. It's okay. Now you'll notice this is rolling down on the motor, and that is okay. That's what we want. Now you'll come in a little high and slide it in. Now you'll need to ensure that this plastic housing is sitting down on the plastic collar, that there's no space there. If that's all good, then slide your back housing on and push them together by hand, noting that you should not have any cracks, any gaps on either side without any bolts in it. All right, we're going to run the screws in if you do spin one of these screws, you need to go ahead and stop what you're doing and replace this whole collar setup. It should be good. It's not, you can't tighten for it. You think so? That mine? But no, it's tight. Now with the tape in here, without the tape in here, this is usually it's pretty free, but it's pretty tight in here with the tape behind this to hold this in place. All right, and hold the belt in your hand now that you've gotten that all fished through and tightened up, and you're going to tap this. And it needs to be to where you can see trim. You need to be able to access trim on your remote for this to work. But this is a height reset, and everything needs to be clear. It needs to pull all the way up into the bottom of the motor. Now we will lay it flat. You get one chance at this, and you cannot restow it, redeploy it once you've done this. So obviously I need to put that on first. There we go. Now we're gonna stow it. Perfect. And now we'll go to the top and connect. Now, as you can see here, we have a mud dauber situation happening, and this is one of the best protectants you can have against the mud dauber infestation, and this will stop them. They absolutely hate Armor All. So that can keep your mud daubers from getting in here. Also, you can cover that hole up, and it won't let them in here. Okay, when removing this, be sure to catch this shaft and roller there, and then this. Notice the way the opening of the hole is pointed and the way that this is pointed, so that you can get it back together the right way when you take it apart. We will have to probably trim this belt, but we'll get down that road once we get there. If there's tape on it like mine, let's take that tape off. And now slide it back over the belt like it was, and put your lug back on and slide it back. I can tell you right now from experience that this is too long. Now we're going to check the distance. Now, the key to any of these belt adjustments, so that belt adjustments, so that you'll have adjustment to play with as the life of the belt stretches a little, is to make it difficult to put on now. Here's what I mean by that. I put it in the slot, and I can push it all the way back, and I have a bunch hanging out here. So I'm all the way pushed into the slot, and you can see I've got a ton of space. Now, I absolutely recommend that you go one notch at a time. However, I know that I'm probably 4 notches away from being where I need to be. So we'll slide it back on, and we'll put it back in, and we still bottomed out. So that means that I am probably 2 notches. Again, I will recommend that you do 1 notch at a time, but if it bottoms out, you're probably at least 2 notches away. Now we're getting into the realm of, all right, it's going to be hard for you to see. If you'll notice that the belt tensioner is kind of stuck in there at an angle, and the belt's tight around the top of the pulley here, and it's going to be a challenge to get in with the bolt going straight. You're going to take a small pair of Nippex pliers, and this is as absolutely small as you can have it. You're going to slide that bolt in and catch the hole. You're going to notice it's not going to go in because there's too much of an angle variance. Now you're going to grab the back of the pulley here at the belt on it, and be gentle when you do this, and you're going to roll. You're going to roll that block behind the belt. At the same time, you're going to push your screw through, and you're going to run it in. Now you can cross thread this. I've done this a great many years. I would suggest that you use this doing the whole thing, but you know, to each their own. Now, if we got this right, I should see between 1/4 and 3/8 of threads sticking out of that bolt. Yep. And it's hard to tell without light, of course. There you go. We've got about 1/4 inch of thread sticking out of that bolt. Now, people ask all the time about tension. Well, tension is difficult. You shouldn't be able to easily get your finger behind this, right? So I can get my finger and barely, I'm putting just a little bit of pressure to get a hold of it. And I shouldn't, I mean, to get this to go 45, I really have to push hard, but just with light pressure, I should be able to get right here, but I should not be able to, you know, with easy pressure, I should not be able to get my finger behind the belt. And that's that's what you're looking for. If you can't even hardly get this away from it, it's too tight. You're going to take it and twist the wires one way on this one and the opposite way here, and you want to try to get 3 rounds out of it. The reason they do that is the GPS has electrical interference, and this mitigates that interference and cancels out this magnetic field. Not cancels, but it causes it to be more structured, maybe. I don't really know exactly how to explain it, but it does help, so FYI. Also, do not ever put a metal screw in this back corner. That should be that brass screw. And you'd be better off to leave it out than to put a metal screw in it. Now we'll do a final test. My bench batteries are getting a little weak, but now on the Ulterra, you want to spin it one way and stow it and make sure it finds it. It's 90 degrees, okay? We're going to pause it, deploy it, and we're going to spin it the opposite direction. And we're going to stow it and make sure it finds 90 degrees. As long as it'll find both directions and it comes up nice and flat, you're good to go. Now, if you happen to get this repair done, and I just paused it, and this motor is sitting crooked, which we're a little bit crooked, you're going to shut your power off. You're going to push it past the point so that the heavy end of the motor, which is where the prop is, lands just a little high, and then you're going to turn it back on. And now you can finish the stow process or deploy, either way, and that resets the orientation. If it keeps losing that orientation on the way up, you either have the Hall effect sensors in your steer motor are bad, and or the control board is not counting the sequences correctly, or you've lost a magnet in your reluctor wheel. So, and or having a little bit of wiring issue, which I've seen as well. So those 4 things can be the issue for it not. But normally they will find their way either left or right. If left isn't working, right will be. I have yet to see that it won't find its way both ways, so I hope that helps. Anyhow, I'd like to thank you for coming by and watching. If you learned something, please like and subscribe, and if you feel like somebody else could use this information, share it on. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.